Hey everyone, it is great to be back. I'm really excited to share with you some ideas that I've been thinking about over the past few weeks about Chanukah, and I'm really looking forward to reading your comments, answering questions, continuing the discussion. So what I want to do today, I want to talk about three kind of sections. Number one, some main ideas for Chanukah that you can take with you. Number two, Kavanot of the Ari, that you can hold, the intentions you can hold when you are doing the lighting that are extremely powerful and extremely relevant to these days. And the third section is share some Segulot, some things for Parnasa and Refuah that we can think about as well. So a lot of people don't know this, but the Baal Shem Tov brings down that Chanukah, the 8th night of Chanukah, is the third seal of your year. So what's commonly known is that on Rosh Hashanah, we have our inscription kind of written out, right? This is what Jake's year is going to be like. On Yom Kippur, it gets that seal, right? And Hoshana Rabbah, it gets delivered. So there's it's written, it's sealed, it's delivered. So the first seal happens on Yom Kippur. The second seal, so to speak, happens on Hoshana Rabbah. And what the Baal Shem Tov brings down is that on Zot Chanukah, the 8th night of Chanukah, a person gets the third seal. So in some ways, a person can change the trajectory of their entire year or seal their year, in a very deep way on Chanukah. So that's just like another very important thing to think about, because a lot of people think that after Yom Kippur, my year is done, like whatever is going to be. But the truth is, it's not. And especially, I think about this a lot. The Rabbi Nachman says, Ein shum yeush ba'olam klal. And this is just another example of how many chances Hashem gives us to change for the better and change trajectories. So that's something to think about. So there's this connection between sealing your year and Chanukah, which also brings the connection between Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur and Chanukah, especially after you light the candles for that first 30 minutes. And so the same energy that a person has on Ne'ilah is actually the same energy after you light the Chanukah candles. So what a person can accomplish after lighting the Chanukah candles is exactly what they can accomplish on Ne'ilah, which is so mind-blowing. Now, I want to suggest that after lighting Chanukah candles, is actually even a greater time than Ne'ilah. Here's why. Because at Ne'ilah, you don't really have any distractions, right? You've vested the physical. You've been fasting all day. No one's bothering you during Ne'ilah. Even, no one's doing Lashon Hara, whatever it is that's going to be distracting. But after lighting the Chanukah candles, you have, kids want food. You can check your phone. There's more barriers. There are more potential distractions. And so I think, given that there are more distractions potentially on Chanukah, that it's an even higher level than Ne'ilah. That's my own thoughts. I could be wrong. Another very important thing to think about is that Chanukah candles, lighting Chanukah candles, celebrating Chanukah in some way, it's such a beloved mitzvah of the Jews. Actually, it's one of the... It's actually brought down in halacha that's one of the reasons suggested why we light Chanukah candles before Shabbat candles, right? We have different halachic ramifications around this, because if you already taken Shabbat, you can't light Chanukah candles. Okay, but maybe if you don't accept Shabbat, like some Sfaradim do, then you could light Chanukah candles after, and that's a whole other discussion. But one of the reasons suggested is that it's just a beloved mitzvah, and that's why we do it first. What Jewish women can perceive when they're lighting the candles, the Shabbat candles, that's the same light that someone can bring down and perceive for the entire year. It's the light of, I'm going to be able to see Hashem in my life throughout the entire year. And it gives you that energy to have that siyata d'shmaya and to see the perception of Hashem, to see Hashem's hand in everything throughout the entire year. So it's something very, very important to contemplate. Okay, let's get into some of the Kavanot. So I have a PDF that I put together. I will link to it in the description. And this has a lot of detail, and I'm not going to get into all of the detail. but you're going to be able to follow it very carefully. So I prepared some kavanot for this first bracha. I don't know if that's zoomed in. There we go. This is the first bracha, which is Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Asher Kidishanu b'Misosav V'tzivanu lehadlik ner Chanukah. And so I'm going to share 4 intentions. This isn't even all of them. 4 intentions for this. Now, if you're Ashkenaz, I'm not sure what Sfaradim do, but in some Sidurim it says lehadlik ner shel Chanukah, but the Ari brings it down as lehadlik ner Chanukah, and that's not a mistake. So number 1, the first intention that you can have is regel. Okay, what's regel? Regel is leg. Now, when you have this intention, you're going to hold it when you think about this before you start. So Baruch atah Hashem. You're going to say Amunah. You're going to say it actually. But what you're going to think about is this intention of regel. Now, you can get a sense of how deep these kavanot go, and I don't have words to describe what the Ari shows us. And really, it goes back to Rashbi in the Zohar. So what's regel? Regel is feet, is leg, and we know that you're supposed to light the Chanukah candles when people are still walking around in the marketplace, right? So they're walking around and they can see your Chanukah candles. So it actually relates to the halacha as well. But what's the deeper idea here? So we know that the marketplace is sort of the place of sin, right? We know that from Gemara Shabbos 33b, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says the Romans built all these marketplaces to have prostitutes in them, it's a place of evil, right? You have to, when you're in your home, everything's safe, it's calm. When you have to venture out into the world on business or whatever, you have to guard your eyes. You have to stay away from sin and stay away from non-kosher food, that sort of thing. But think about this Gemara. He says that the Romans built the marketplaces in order to have prostitutes. Now, regel also relates to the sexual organ because it's literally sitting next to your leg. And so what he explains, what a person can accomplish when they say Baruch atah Hashem, and they're going to hold in their mind Shem Av and Shem Ksa. And you're gonna see this on the page. But what they are doing is they're rectifying all of these sexual, sins that they've done in their lives, as well as everyone connected to your root soul. So you might think, I haven't done anything wrong. You're helping everyone else connected to your soul as well. And this is an extremely big rectification that a person can accomplish by thinking about the kavanah of regel, Baruch atah Hashem. They think about these names of Hashem. They don't say them. You're going to be able to see it on the PDF. And this will bring about an extreme rectification. Now, for Shem Ab and Shem Ksa, it adds up to regel, gematria regel. So that's the deeper meaning there. Look at it in more detail. The second kavanah a person will have is lehadlik, right? Lehadlik ner Chanukah. On lehadlik, you are drawing down the energy from Shem Ab, Shem Sag, Shem Ma, and you can add one for the word, and that adds up to lehadlik. So you can see how you start with that first kavanah of regel, and you're connecting the world or the sphere of keter to chokhmah, and now with lehadlik, you're bringing it way further down. So you can see how they're connected. Again, look at that in more detail. For the third kavanah of ner, you want to think, what's a ner? Ner is a candle. And what's interesting is we light Chanukah candles, but the truth is, and what everyone should think about and really believe, is that you are Hashem's Chanukah candles. I love this idea. You have to think about this a lot. But we have a pasuk from Mishlei, which is the candle of Hashem is the soul of man. So when you become your best self, when you're shining, when you're glowing, you are Hashem's Hanukkah candles. And you're going to be able to think about this throughout the year and energize your year. Now, if you count up the gematria as well with these names of Hashem, you're going to have, it's going to add up to Ner. So that's another proof. Again, look at it in more detail. Now, the fourth kavanah is a pretty easy kavanah. It is nachal. So if you think about it, if you look at the pasuk, it says lehadlik ner Chanukah. If you take the Rashi Tevos, mix them around, you get nachal, which is river. So think about this in more depth. What's a river? A river, it flows from a high place down to a low place. So what you are doing when you are lighting the Chanukah candles is you are bringing that awareness of Hashem from the highest places, that energy, bringing it all the way down to the lowest places, right? And so you're bringing all of that energy down just like a river. As we know, 4 rivers flew out from Eden, Gan Eden, or Eden, and watered the garden. So there's something related there. So Nachal is also Rashi Tevos, Notzer Chesed La'alafim. So Hashem, as you know, has 13 attributes of mercy, and these are 3 that we mentioned. Notzer Chesed La'alafim, that he does kindness for thousands. What are these thousands? Who is receiving this kindness? So what thousands are, they're your children, your children's children, your children's children's children's, right? It grows to about 1,000 people pretty quickly. So what a person can think here is that by lighting the Chanukah candles with joy, when they say lehadlik ner Chanukah, they think nachal, and they think about how they are actually ensuring that their children, children's children, and their offspring always stay connected to Hashem. That is the whole message of Chanukah, that the Greeks couldn't snuff us out, and that we're going to stay connected to Hashem. And it just proves the point, because even people who aren't so religious, they still love Chanukah, they still light Chanukah candles, and they still stay connected. So this is ensuring that your children's children will be connected to Hashem no matter what. And so that's what it means, that Hashem stores up his kindness for thousands. So those are the Kavanot. It's a little bit hard to explain it without visuals, but take a look at the PDF and see if that helps. Now, let me get my last couple of cards here. Segulot. All right, so number 1, Chanukah can be an amazing time of healing. The 8th bracha in Shmona Esrei has to do with healing. We ask for healing for all the Jewish people. We include ourselves. You can include people's names at that point in the Shmona Esrei, but it is the 8th bracha, which obviously relates to Chanukah, because Chanukah is 8 days and 8 nights, and so there's a connection there between healing. And if you look at Lehadlik Ner Chanukah, which we just discussed, it is the gematria of Melech Rofeh Ne'eman, that Hashem is a king, a trustworthy king. We trust him to heal us, and he's a king. That's an amazing intention there. The other last Segulot that I want to talk about is that it is an amazing time to bring abundance, parnasa, into your life. We have in Mishlei a pasuk that says, Orech yamim biyemina, bismola, osher v'kavod. So long days are lengthy days are at your right, and at your left is wealth and honor. So what does it mean that at your left is wealth and honor? It's a little bit poetic, but we know that we always put our mezuzah on the right-hand side, and we put our menorah at the other part of the doorway on the left-hand side. So there's a connection between lighting Chanukah candles and abundance. And so the idea of that originally was that you'll walk through your doorway and you'll be surrounded by mitzvot. So you'll be, on your right will be your mezuzah, and your left will be your Chanukiah. Now, interestingly enough, what does it say in the mezuzah? It has the Hashem's name, Shin Daled Yud. Now, one of the intentions a person can hold when they kiss their mezuzah every time is that I have enough. I have everything I need to accomplish what Hashem wants me to accomplish in this world. And that's why those 2 second letters are dai, which mean enough. So on the one hand, we always think about how we have enough, and then thank God we can also think about how this mitzvah of Chanukah is going to bring down tremendous abundance for us and parnasa, so that we can continue to do Hashem's will, so we can push it even further. We can give more tzedakah, we can spend more money on mitzvot, we can bring more light down. Those are the ideas that I wanted to share, and I want to bless all of you with an amazing, wonderful, strengthening, enlightening Chanukah to you and your family. And God willing, it should be an amazing time for all of the Jewish people. I know we're going through a lot of hard times right now. God willing, all of the hostages should come home soon. They should be in good health. And it should be a healing for all of the Jewish people and the entire country, especially those in Israel who are definitely on the front lines of this. All right, that is today's video. Please leave a comment below. Share more insights with me. There's so much on Chanukah, and I can't wait to see what you share.